Welcome to the Other Dads podcast. Two first-time fathers trying not to screw this up. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 19
That sounds right.
of the Other Dads podcast. I'm Christian.
I'm Josh.
Joined by my friend Josh. Two first-time fathers trying not to screw this up. And we've got a packed show as always. This week we've got a special treat for everyone. We got an interview with a good friend of ours who is a two-time father. So not a first-time father, two-time father trying not to screw this up. Faithful listener. And he's both a boy dad and a girl dad. So got his perspective on everything that entails. We've got a quick catch up for the week and then getting into Dr. Rick and observations from strangers before we wrap it up. First things first, we've got a game to pick. Two Monday Night Football games. Josh, I was thinking we could do a two for special, but one of the games is pretty much over.
One of them is locked up here.
Yeah, Bills-Jags was over in the first quarter. So we've got Manders, Bengals, 7-7, middle of the first. Big coin flip here. This could be anyone's ball game.
And we have gone back to Old Faithful, the coin flip generator.
I just left my coin upstairs. I'll tell you why I can't go up there and get it later in the pod.
Lucky coin. All right, here we go.
Oh, heads.
Heads, baby. Yeah, I mean, this is my commies team. Left hand up, but I'm going to have to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home, 0-2.
All right, let's rock, baby. I kind of don't. Can I pick no one? I hate the Commanders.
No, you have to take them.
I hope I lose.
But it's a win-win for both of us.
This is worth it if I yeah, it's true. If the Commanders if they win, you win. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
You can do it.
It's I don't know. I'd rather wear a diaper than the Commanders win a game.
Well, get used to it, buddy, because we just won last week.
But so what are you drinking this week, Josh?
I've got Old Faithful here, PBR.
Oh man, I'm jealous. That's just
play the hits.
Yeah.
What about you? I want to say,
silky smooth.
Lady G had a comment regarding your drinks. She said what did she say? She said something along the lines of, "You're a grown man. Why do you have ices in your fridge?"
All right. We had to keep revisiting this. It was a nice vacation, hanging out on the beach. Want a little screwdriver action.
Why would you ever even buy that? I've never gone to the beach thinking I need those. There's so many other options.
No, it's pre-made mixed drink.
Gross. It's a sugar fest.
Well, I am drinking a Modelo.
Oh.
Heyo. And if you hear a voice over there, that's our guest. We've got a guest.
I think he's in the dungeon.
Yeah. Industrial grade.
Yeah. Coming to you live from my basement.
Ooh.
What do we call it?
I think it's T squared.
T squared. Okay.
Oh, that's who that was, huh? I never knew who that was when you mentioned them earlier in the pod. It really tripped me up because I was like, T squared means there's 4 T's.
Nope. Simple math.
I mean, it's got to be at least 4 or 1. 1 squared is 1 and 2 squared is 4.
T squared. It's T to the second.
Yeah. Math was never my strong suit.
That's double T. That's the thing.
T times 2.
Fair enough.
Yeah. T squared is here with us. A man who needs no introduction, Taylor, a great friend of both of us here, both of the hosts, Josh and Christian. I don't know why I said that. They know who we are.
Well, third person action.
And met in college. Taylor was a really important mentor to us both, actually. So full circle here, we're now mentoring him as fathers.
That's true. That's true. I'm actually coming to learn what it's like to be a boy dad.
I hope you brought your hard hat.
I did.
And your lunch pail. That's a shout out to the listeners out there. Taylor has been married. How long now, Taylor?
9 years.
9 years and 2 kiddos. His
That's
oldest
correct.
is a baby girl, and his youngest is a baby boy. And yeah, we particularly thought Taylor would be a great guest because of his experience raising a boy and a girl. I think there's things have come up where people have said it's different for their experience. based on that. And so, or even Josh has mentioned, like maybe I would be more nurturing or more caring if that was the case. So that's what we were like, man, let's get Taylor on here and pick his brain.
And we also, I think, for the girl dads out there listening that have been maybe not able to relate as much to what we got going on, and we definitely talk a lot about what it's like having boys. So want to show what it's like to have the other side and have someone that's had both. So
But the way you said that, it's like we chose this. Like we had just kind of how the cards were dealt.
they say depending on the position you use.
All right. Some people swear by that. We're gonna get into it,
Are you
Taylor.
ready?
Are you having a brew? Do you want to introduce your brew?
Yeah, my brew is
Nice.
Walmart Better Goods sparkling lemon water.
Ooh.
Better good.
You know, we're true millennial fashion drinking some seltzer water over here.
Is it
Nice.
sparkling water? Is it seltzer water? What is it?
I guess it's sparkling
I haven't
water.
been able to get into those. I don't know.
You know what grinds me when you go to the restaurant and they say flat or bubble? I don't know what they even say.
I think it's
You know,
because you
yeah,
live in
where-
DC. No
where
one
are
says
you-
that. No one
where are
says
you
that
eating?
in Southwest Virginia.
you've never had that? Oh my god.
No.
What?
It's the worst. Yeah,
What
they're
are we
like
in, we in France?
yeah, they're like, would you like your water
Bonjour.
seltzer or regular? And you're like, you feel like it's such a joke saying regular, but I hate
I
seltzer
mean,
water.
where I go, they're like, "How many baskets of chips do you want?" It's the
Someone's telling us the geography they live.
Would you like it from the tap or from the hose?
But yeah, Taylor, do you have any questions on pod or anything before we get going?
No, just an avid listener. You know, something to pass my day while I'm at work. I just listen to you two guys. It's kind of like listening to a middle schooler's diary. And
that's high praise. We didn't earn that. Thank you.
We didn't tell him to say that.
No.
Yeah, we didn't even pay him for that high praise.
I'm excited to be on and maybe share some wisdom. Probably not, but like you said, this is not medical advice,
Yep.
right? So take nothing too seriously.
Yeah, like we said, if you think this is medical advice, first things first, you're an idiot. Let's
All
do
right,
it,
Taylor,
Josh.
let's get into it. First question. We'll give you a nice softball here. What is your official stance on leashing children?
Well, I actually just took my kids off the leash before we put them in the bathtub tonight. Leashing,
And that
children.
concludes the interview.
Yeah, we're a strict anti-leashing podcast.
Yeah, I think you can't knock it until you try it. Maybe I don't know. We've never done that per se.
Do you know anyone that has?
Not personally, but I have. I mean, your kids are not at the age where you take them where they can actually walk, and like, it is insanely impressive how quickly Ruth can just disappear in a public place. And I feel like if you had a child that, or maybe you're an anxious parent, I don't know. I could see some reasoning for it, but it would take a lot.
We don't need to justify these people.
I mean, how often do you see this? Is this a big craze in DC? Because I didn't see that.
I love that. Since I said the sparkling water thing, he's like, "Is DC a foreign country?"
Well, it actually.
No, I mainly see it at the airports. But I've only seen it like once or twice.
Okay, the airport is freaking stressful, and you're trying to go through security, and which actually I take that back. If you have kids, going through security at the airport is 10 times easier.
Oh.
Because they just like, you basically get to skip all the stuff and they just say, okay, walk through like, you know, the old 1980s metal detector, and you just walk through that and then you're free to go. So that is the only
I wonder if bad guys know that. If they're just having kids just to do nefarious things. I don't know. Don't listen to this if you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. We're glad that you're with us on our stance, even though you're trying to play the middle ground. We're gonna move past it.
Okay.
Second softball question: did you try the milk?
No.
All right. Well,
there you have it.
I don't know. No, there's never a desire to try breast milk.
Yeah, me neither. All right, and quickly, does it get better?
I I feel like that's like a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. I think we hear it all the time. Like, hey, it gets easier or it gets better, or like you start to connect all these things. But yeah, what's when did you like hit your stride and feel like, man, I'm really enjoying this, or I really got to know my kiddo?
Well, I'd say for like, I don't know if it gets easy, uh, just because I mean they get older and they can do more things. You can have, I don't know, when they're like under a year, especially those first like 6, 8 months, they're just kind of a
Mm.
blob. They don't really have a personality, especially this first, the fourth trimester. I don't know if you've heard of that, where they're just
Yep.
basically eating, pooping, and sleeping, and you're just kind of on rinse and repeat. Uh, I would say it's not till like the first year do you really start to see like glimpses of like what a personality that your kid has. But like, yes, things do get easier. Like you figure out the rhythms of the day and like how to do nap time or how to do or you can tell when they're getting sleepy or tired and like, oh, this is the limit, like we need to go do bedtime or something. But like they're like learning everything for the first time. So my daughter, who's now almost 4, like the hardest thing now is that she is like full of emotions and doesn't know what to do with them. I mean, she's
Mm.
basically a teenager as a toddler, a three-nager is what it's
Mm.
called. And so like
Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
she'll get mad and like slam
Vocab
the
of the
door.
week.
Yeah, she'll slam the door in your face. And you're like,
Whoa.
I don't even know what that was from. And so it's like I'm having, you have to sit down and explain, like, try to explain like what she's feeling. And you're like, oh, well, this is new. But yeah, it doesn't get easier, but you just learn how to like kind of go with the flow or,
So you're saying like it doesn't really get, or it does get easier. Was there an age? R is your daughter is 4. Your son is what? He's almost 2 now, right?
yeah, it'll be 2. No, yes, 2 in January.
Uh, was there like a time? I don't want to say like you started having fun, but where like you kind of started to enjoy it. Like I think what you're saying about like it, like right now for us, it does feel like it's a blob. Like I've told people, it feels like we just have a pet. You just like you feed them, you let them go to the bathroom, and you put them to sleep.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
was there a time where you started to kind of bond and have more fun as a parent?
I mean, I would say it's like not really until like a year and a half that you start to see
Oof.
uh I mean, when they start crawling and like and talk and like, you can visually see them reacting to you, like that's always
Mhm.
fun. But my son, like he is a total boy and like if I'm laying on the ground, he immediately gets on top of me and just starts like banging on me and like wants to wrestle. And you're like,
This is fun.
and like that. Yeah, this is what fun is for him. And yeah, it's like after year 1, after they turn 1, like I don't know, it always used to drive me insane when people would be like, "Yeah, my child's 17 months, my child's 18." You're just like, "What does that mean?" Like, why can't you just say they're a year?
Mm.
But I get it in that like after year 1, like every month they change so much.
Oh wow.
Uh, and whether it's like learning how to crawl or like they start eating food, and like every month there's just like a new piece of their personality that's kind of unlocked.
Nice. That's great.
So yeah, you guys are in the thick of, I don't know. I mean, it's fun. I mean, some people love baby stage. I wasn't like a baby loving dad. Like Katie would tell you that. I was just kind of like, well, Ruth was like attached to Katie for 2 years doing breastfeeding, and so my only like fatherly interaction was like giving her a bath or playing
Mhm.
with her, but she's still a baby at that point. But
Yeah, bath time is king for sure.
well, yeah, and it's like the one time to give her a break. I mean, my son hates bath time and he thinks I'm murdering
Same.
him every time.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's like I like say bath and he just starts
Ugh.
crying.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what trauma are we inflicting on you that I don't even know?
Oh man,
Uh,
bath time is the best time of the day for me.
but yeah, but my daughter, like, she'll stay in the bath for like 45 minutes if we let her. Her favorite thing actually is to take a shower. And I will literally like she will go find all these like little animals toys, bring them all into the shower and like play in
animals. Goes and finds feral cats.
It's
Yeah.
a bit of a Noah's Ark
Classic.
situation.
Yeah. Nah. She loves bath time, so
That's good.
Taylor, was the second child easier or harder than the first? We hear things like, the step change isn't so big on the second one. Like you've already gotten used to it. You've already kind of changed your lifestyle. Is that true? How did you feel about that jump from 1 to 2 versus just from 0 to 1?
I think Jim Gaffigan has that line of like, what's it like having another child is like you're drowning and then someone hands you a baby. Like, that's kind of what number 2 felt like. So, my daughter was like was just over 2 years old, and she's not she wasn't like great sleeper. So we were still like, we're still coming out of like the craziness of just switching our lives completely. Had a second kid, and like, I don't know, it was like whiplash because you're back to like those first 2 weeks of torture of like not sleeping, of getting up every 2 to 3 hours. You're also older now. I mean, you guys will be young parents. I was like not an old parent, but I had our first kid and I was like just turned 30. And then our second kid, I'm like 33. And so I didn't think that would make a difference, but I was like, man, I'm just tired all the time. So I think like that when people, the jump from 1 to 2 was hard. I hear that like going beyond 2 is like easy because it's just kind of like you just go with it. I don't know.
You forget that you have one of the 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like having a kid in general. It's like like the amount of things that I just forgot that we did with Ruth, even though it was only 2 years ago, is insane. Like we'd be like holding Henry, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're like, this is how you swaddle, or this is like some of the things you guys were saying of the stages. I was like, oh, I completely blocked this out of my mind. So
Yeah, I hear that a lot from parents. Like, I don't even remember the first 4 months.
Because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, you had to have forgotten it because people, they're always so positive.
Right. Why would you have
Yeah.
another child if you remember?
Yeah, because right
months?
now I'm like thinking about everything we're going through, plus everything we went through with like pregnancy and labor, and I'm just like, why would I want more kids, but like, why would we do this again?
Yeah. I didn't know the 1 to 2 jump. I had heard, people, basically what I hear is like it progressively, each one is a little easier, and because your life it changes like a little bit each time. I think, and then I heard there's like a jump when you need a new car, like from 3 to 4.
Oh yeah.
And from like 5 to 6 or something.
That was one of our thoughts. Is like, do we have a third kid? And I'm like, well, we'd have to get a new car. And
big decision.
Yeah, I don't. Right now, it's
I really like the car.
looking like we're gonna be a
Reliable
family.
If we're doing pros and cons, I mean,
I love my 2012 RAV4.
I'm not giving it up. Taylor, one of the reasons I mentioned this at the top, we thought you'd be a great guest, is that you've had the boy dad and the girl dad experience. It says my name.
I totally forgot my first question of the night. When you leave the hospital with your girl, do the nurses or the doctor, who is it that like hands you the girl dad merchandise, as far as like hats and T-shirts?
Ooh.
Do they hand them out at the hospital? Does it come later in the mail?
I think it comes. I feel like it's like as soon as you get home, people like acknowledge that you're girl dad, and I don't know if I ever had a shirt or anything, but it's like all of a sudden there's this secret club. Like I would show up at church and all these dads would be like, "Welcome to the girl dad club," and I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing. And so
the club you didn't ask to be part of.
Can you, as outsiders, can you explain it to us? What is?
Yeah,
and you've had both now, so like, is the girl dad thing? Is it a real thing, or are you kind of over it? Is it more like, I love my son too?
I feel like I'm just now entering it, honestly. Like,
are you a girl dad even if you have a boy? Like I thought your card gets taken away. Your membership card goes away.
I
thought girl
think
dads
so.
were exclusively girl dads.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm an outsider. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think as long as you have a girl, you can be girl dad.
Wow. Does your son get like offended if you wear your girl dad hat? Do you put that on if you're like angry at him?
Right now, he doesn't mind. He's just kind of submissive to his sister. So she kind of gets what she wants, and he gets out of her way. So
That's good.
no, Girl Dad Club is great. Like, so she's just starting to take dance. I've become a pro at Barbies, and I feel like those are like the two like maybe stereotypical girl dad things. But
Tea time,
Do you know the dances?
oh,
paint the
no,
nails.
this dance thing, you're not allowed to stay. You can only drop them off. So it's like just a big like they could just be sitting there and doing nothing the whole time around. I have no idea.
You might want to go undercover, see what's going on in there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
paying
you
a
can
lot
fit
of
in.
money for my child just to sit there.
Yeah, that's wrong with being a boy dad. But yeah, I think when you do girl dad stuff, it just gets so celebrated. Like no one celebrates. I mean, not no one, but it's like throwing a ball with your boy is nowhere near as like of a cool dad moment as dancing with your.
Yeah, it's like the meme with I don't know if you guys have seen it, the flirting and harassment meme.
Ooh, how's this relate to
Okay,
children?
maybe not.
I love this. I love. Let's do an audible meme. Go
Audible
ahead.
meme. But it's like, look at me, I'm a girl dad. Like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, look at me, I'm a boy dad. Like, oh, gross. Masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever explore that maybe he doesn't like to play in the mud?
He's,
Man.
how
I
much
don't know.
mud does he get
I'm
into?
not
1.5.
a lot. Surprised.
Oh wow.
Heck yes.
He loves being dirty. But
Yeah,
I still
he
feel
hates
like
the bath.
far into being into boy dad. Like I said, like the personalities of boy girl like are very not. There's not that much difference. They're just learning how to
Mhm.
play. So
Yep.
the same. Ruth and Henry, they're both doing the same thing. Until recently. So yeah, girl dad's fun. I mean honestly, I was kind of nervous becoming having a boy because I don't know. I feel like I'm not super stereotypical of like I don't know. I'm not a big sports person. Uh, Never really been my thing. And so when you say like throw a ball, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're gonna tap out real quick on my parental abilities to be a boy dad. But
No, that's the beauty. That like they love to build stuff. They love to
right.
fight. I mean, every man can pound their father while he's on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into the kind of the differences here. I'll start us off first, just getting into like when they were born. Did you feel differently towards them after their birth? Like, was there a different sense of nurturing or a different sense of attachment based on, the gender of the kiddo?
I don't think so. I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm not like a super newborn, like lovey-dovey type thing. Obviously, I was with both of them and enjoyed holding them and rocking them and all that stuff. But I think it was about the same. Like I said, when they turn like one and start having these like little human moments, like those are the moments where you like treasure the most, and or at least I start like you talk about nurturing or like seeing like your daughter and like like calling them like your son, like that's when it starts to really make an impact.
Do you find yourself now being more protective of one or the other, or you feel the same?
I think it's always said that like you're hardest on like I will be hardest on Henry. Kate, my wife, will be hardest on my daughter. I think it's kind of like what people say.
Mm.
And I could totally see that. Like she already like twists my finger and I'm a biggest pushover on everything. Like my wife's like, you need to have more discipline. And I'm like, I don't know. Just let her do what she wants. So,
Okay, so that is where you see kind of a difference there. It's kind of
yeah.
your expectations for each of them are a little different. You kind of
I think so.
hold him and her to a different standard. I get it. Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that develops as they get older. Yeah, I'm trying to be aware of like, I don't want to be the parent or the dad that's like super demanding. I mean, I have high standards. I know I do, and I don't want to like put that onto to him. So let him be his own person.
Yeah. When do you see their like you kind of said, they just like to play. Is there a moment where you've seen like, oh, I saw baby girl like become more of a girl and baby boy become more of a boy? Like, is there like hey, when they were 2, they started to like these things, or I don't know. Does that make sense to the question?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think developmentally, yeah, those early stages, they literally are just playing. And
Yep.
but I think you look at my daughter and like the way she plays is so relational. Like, even if it's not with other like preschoolers, like she will have all her animals and figurines sit out and like be creating whole worlds and talking like creating relationships with them and how they are talking to one another and who's mom and who's dad and who's these little family units with dinosaurs mixed with like little preschool toys, as opposed to my son literally just likes to destroy anything. So he's like
Yes.
into like I will build like some awesome mega block structure and he doesn't care about it. He just wants to push it over and see it explode. And
It's got to
so
be frustrating as an architect.
oh yeah I'm like, I spent a lot of time thinking about the composition of this and you destroyed it. But yeah, I mean, you can see little glimpses of that starting to happen, in like the way that they play.
Yeah, I see pictures of my friends who have kiddos similar ages to JJ. I'm like, there's no difference whatsoever. I was wondering when that kind of like. So you're saying throughout?
Yeah, I mean,
play.
he's like I said, he's 20 months, almost 2, and like that's when I'm like, you just start seeing like little glimpses of like, they are different people.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into some diaper chatter a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about getting peed on, getting sprayed. You've obviously experienced that with your son, but you also have a girl. So, which do you prefer? Would you rather change the girl diaper or the boy diaper?
Ooh, I don't know. Well, my daughter's not potty trained, so like again, I've already kind of forgotten what it's like to change her diapers.
You said she's not, or she is?
She is.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So
She's
like,
not. They just
it's
kind of
fine.
let her do her thing.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, well,
well,
I was-
I don't know. Changing boy diapers is pretty terrible, especially when they get I don't know, they poop themselves on the front side, and you're like getting crap out of everything.
Yep.
So, and then they get older and they have like real human poop, and so it gets real gross real quick.
I feel like you had kind of a warm up, like a practice round. We got thrown to the fire, straight to the boy, straight to being peed on. Like you got 2 years of experience, and then
Oh yeah,
you were warming up for a while.
it's true. My like ability to change a diaper quickly and like know how to wrangle them was a 1-up probably than what you guys had. I mean, I don't think I only ever got peed on one time, I think.
Whoa,
And then
that's
you
got
just
to be a world record.
How many
you just
attempts?
kind of
How
know
many
like, what
attempts?
to do.
We don't know. We don't know the ratio.
Oh,
Oh.
how often was it changing a diaper? I don't know. You just probably had to ask my wife that. We probably have very different
He could have.
numbers.
He got so many. He
It
didn't do
could have been
it.
0 for 1. We don't know.
Did you ever kick them while you were changing their diaper?
Did I kick them?
All right.
Yeah, kick them in the head. Quick kick in the head. That's what Josh did.
What?
It's a nick. It's a nick. It was a nick.
Wait,
Spin around and kick him in the head.
what do you? Where are they that you?
No, I was not changing his diaper. Okay. This
You guys just on the
He
floor.
he just kicked it for fun.
no, he was getting his diaper changed, but I was sitting next to him, and then I stood up, and then I turned around, and then I stepped to the side, and it just one thing led to another. Okay. I don't need to talk about it.
Oh gosh.
I wanted to say we're like, is there something with girls that like people say to you? Like, I'm thinking, the only thing I know about like girl dad life is you gotta when you're changing the diaper, you gotta clean, you gotta swipe up.
Wipe down.
Wipe up.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it up or down? I think
Nope,
it's down.
Stuff.
Yeah. You don't want to go from the back to the front. You don't want to.
It's not up.
It's
No,
down.
up, isn't it?
You don't. No.
Oh,
You don't
wait,
want
no,
to
I'm
bring
thinking-
the back side into the
I was
front.
thinking
Yeah,
reverse anatomy there.
No, you were wrong.
No, I was thinking reverse. But is there something that like people say to you as a girl dad? Like, is there something that girl dads experience that you've seen? Like, was like people always said this when I had Ruth, but not now with Henry. Like,
Oh, people always like immediately jump to like, you're gonna be walking her down the aisle
oh yeah,
next week.
Yeah, all right.
You know, one day you're gonna be dancing with her at her wedding, giving her away.
and you're like, if she chooses to get married,
Yeah.
we're not going to pressure her.
Right, exactly. It's her choice. I think that's probably the biggest
Have you
one.
thought about that?
She
Not
she
too
has a
much.
crush in preschool. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
gosh, it's happening.
What's his name?
Yeah.
But
But she used to have this like preschool friend that like loved kissing
Oh,
people. And
yikes.
so he would like corner her all the time and like try to kiss her.
Mm.
And so I mean, it was kind of comical.
Did you take it out back?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've forecasted that on her yet.
Went to go pick her up, and you were cleaning off the old shotgun when he walked by
Right, and just singing butterfly kisses and imagining
outside the preschool.
Sir, you're under
Oh, that's good. All right. Maybe the last question to really focus on the girl dad life is, what would be like the one thing you think is relatable? Like, if you could speak to the girl dads listening, what's one thing that you've gone through or are going through that me and Christian can't relate to, but for the listeners out there, you feel like this is what you want to get across?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't know. There's something special about being a girl dad in that the way she looks up to you, and knowing that she views you as like her protector and her provider. Like, you know, when she's upset, she definitely she had a mom phase, but now she has a dad phase of like, you know, she gets hurt and she asks for me before she asks for her mom. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure in that of thinking of like, she views you as almost perfect, or to her, you are perfect. And you have to realize that one day she's going to realize that you're not. And hopefully she sees that, but then also sees, I guess, sees how much you do love her, and that, yeah, you do want the best for her. And yeah, that's that'll be a hard day when she realizes that you're not perfect. But hopefully, I would hope that, you know, years of me being her father, she could see that that's okay, and that, yeah, that my relationship with her was I don't know if the word is there, but yeah, let's think on that a little bit more.
No, that's good.
That's great. Yeah, thanks so much.
Gonna make me cry over here. Do you think that, like, because I imagine I can see myself feeling that way with my son. I think having the girl would be different with how you're posing it. Do you think you'll feel that way with him? Is that more that like she's older right now, so you're like experiencing that more?
I don't know. Maybe it's something like you project that. Like, I feel like the son is always like, the question is like, how do I prove myself to my parents? Whether it's through like performance of, you know, academics or sports, or, you know, your career. You know, it's always like this. And maybe this is also a me personality thing. Like, how do I prove to my parents that I am a good son? As opposed to the daughter is like, I don't know if the daughter's maybe as concerned about proving themselves, but of just like knowing that they are loved and like cared for by. I mean, I those traits are obviously needed for the son, but like, I feel like the daughter is that tender side of parenting, of knowing that she is like cared for and loved and protected and cherished by her dad.
You must be doing pretty good right now if she's 4 and hasn't figured out you're not perfect yet.
Yeah.
I think my son
Yeah.
already knows that. He can't tell me, he can't express it, but he knows.
Because he knows.
As
It's
soon as he starts talking, he's like, "Dad threw away milk."
Mhm.
Dad gave me rotten milk. Dad tried to poison me.
Dad failed at burping me.
That's a good transition. I'm stealing your question here, Josh. What was your welcome to fatherhood moment where you weren't perfect, where like it got real and you're like, oh crap, this
Or
is
maybe
tough.
just realizing like this is my life now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, I mean, like the first year is hard. And I think the first year is hard for your marriage, in that you realize that having a kid like changes, everything. And I'm sure you've heard that and you said it, but you like realize that like that you have like your mind changes into like thinking about the like family as a concept, as opposed to just me and my wife, like us two. Now we're like a
Yeah.
a three thing. And I think you talk about your welcome to fatherhood moment. I think it was just like one of those moments where someone asked me, like, one of those awkward like happy hour work conversations, or like, tell me, what have you been up to, and you're like introducing to you're telling about your life, and you say, well, I have a daughter and a son, and you're just kind of like that word coming out of my mouth just felt weird for the longest time to say, of like, oh, this is the stage of life I'm in, that I have like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize like you spend a lot of time mentally like thinking about your family, and then you obviously still are married, and so you hope you're married still. And I don't know, it's easy to neglect that relationship with your wife and not even realize it, because you're like so focused on
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, this stage, like just literally keeping your kid alive. But then in later stages, it's like, developing them as a human, making sure they're like well-rounded and socially interactive and all those things, and trying to hit all those milestones. And like you realize you put so much energy into that, that it's easy to forget that, like, oh, I still have to put that much energy into my marriage with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like hard things to figure out, and I don't think I've like completely figured them out. But I mean, most of the time it takes to the point where we're like both in bed and we're just like, oh, I haven't talked to you in like a week, because we're so tired that we just get in bed and immediately go to sleep. So um or we're just kind of like agitated at one another, and like, oh, we haven't actually had time just to talk
Mm-hmm.
about something other than a sleep schedule or a routine. And so those were like, oh, I'm like in fatherhood mode, and kind of realizing that's a big piece of my life now. Also, okay, here's another fatherhood moment. It's like, again, I don't think I didn't think I'd be like this, but like I used to, people at work would be like, oh, you want to go to happy hour, you want to go do something after work, whatever. And I would feel, even when Ruth was first born, I'd be like, sure, please, I do not want to go home. I want like 2 more minutes where I'm not in like thinking about the sleep pattern. But then all of a sudden, like, something switched now, that you're just kind of like, good, you want to do something? I'm like, nah, I'd rather go home and see my kids. And
Nice.
and that's not to say that like you should just neglect your friends, but like
You see the fellows is on the way out.
yeah. No, that's highly crucial, and you should still see the fellows. But there is like this shift in like, I'm like, I know I kind of want to see my family more than just this random happy hour that I don't really
Yeah.
care that much about. So.
Yeah, your priorities definitely change. So on a more maybe lighthearted note, what was your most early fatherhood? What was your most embarrassing moment, or like, like for me was probably night one crying on the toilet. So like for you, maybe make me feel better about myself. And remember, we've already talked about me accidentally kicking my son in the head. So this is a safe. This is
yeah,
safe.
no,
space.
Poison.
This is
think
safe
it
space,
was,
unless you tried leashing. If that's the case, we can move to we can move to the next question.
let me put that away real quick.
If you had a prop.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was when we had my son and we had brought him home. And again, it was like we both had just kind of forgotten how crazy the first 2 weeks are. And we're both like, okay, my daughter, we like never let her sleep in the bed. We were like, by the book, like has to be in the bassinet, like. And then by the time he came along, it was kind of like, I don't care. Just he can lay on top of us and hope we don't I hope we don't crush him, All the sleep experts out there are freaking out right now. But and remember like it was one night we like fell asleep. He was laying on top of my wife and like I thought it was like that moment where she like turned and he slid off of her and slid off and fell on like this is like within the first 2 weeks, like fell on the
Oh
floor.
gosh!
And like she like jumped and I like freaked out. Yeah, I'm like jolting out of bed, like flipping on the lights, like what just happened? Like he's on the floor and I think we just dropped a newborn baby and we are like in major trouble here. And so we like, we call the nurse's line and Katie or my wife feels terrible because like obviously we just dropped a newborn and the nurse is like, well, how's his breathing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like he's a newborn and like you're just panicking and the adrenaline's rushing and you're like caveat, he's fine. You're just like, we did something completely wrong and yeah. It was one of those moments of like the night of, I was like, you had all the emotions. I'm like upset that we just dropped the baby and like freaking out that we did something terrible to him that he's going to be ruined for the rest of his life. And then we're like, we're terrible parents. Why do we do this? But that was probably like the hardest / like, yeah, having 2 kids was a big,
Yeah, that's
big
gotta be tough
switch.
on number 2. You gotta be like, I've already done this. Like, we know what we're doing.
Right. Exactly. Because again, like I said, like the first kid, you're just so paranoid that like
Yeah.
we're just like, no, why would you ever let your child sleep in the bed? Like only idiots let their children sleep in the bed. Like
No.
you're just asking for all the, these terrible things to happen. And then by the time he came along, I was like, I'm so tired. Just like hold him and, we'll make it work. And
We have a strict teach their own policy here. Whatever you got to do to get through it, that's what you got to do.
but not with
That's
leashing.
correct.
Yeah, I mean
That kind of goes without saying. I mean, if you have to.
yeah, that's a given.
All right, Christian.
Um,
A couple more here, maybe.
yeah, we're getting close to the end here, Taylor. What is one thing you live by with babies? Is there like a product, a method, a book thing that you did? Like I would be tempted to say mine is like this 12 hours by 12 weeks. Like I don't.
Whoa, that's
I mean,
impressive.
he's amazing. Like he just moved his own crib today. He's 3 months old. So anyway, that's like something I would swear by. Josh's would be
Each his own. Yeah.
Velcro swaddles. Is there like what would you swear by for others?
Because we are, I think we're to each their own, and that's one of the most, I think, frustrating parts is when you meet people that like put everything they know onto you. And I think we always say we don't want to do that, and then you end up doing it. But if there was one thing that you're like, no, I will tell you what to do with this. Like,
let's see. I mean, Velcro swaddles are a lifesaver. This is
yeah.
it. The slumber,
Yes.
the slumber pod. If you travel a lot, you need the slumber
now.
pod.
Let's pull it up. Let me take a look.
Whoa.
It's like
a tent.
It's like a tent for the pack and play. You can literally set up in the middle
Whoa.
of a like beach cottage, and the inside of that thing is pitch black.
Whoa.
There's something that popped up called Sleep Pod, the adult swaddle. I don't want to get one.
We
of
gotta
those.
try it.
Amazing. This slumber pod looks great. I mean, why not just use this in your actual house?
You could, yeah. If you don't,
It's
if you
like
do
blackout
camp,
curtains, right?
yeah, you could do that.
Is it
We
soundproof?
we had no. I mean, you can hear them fine
Come on,
through it.
man.
That's it's
Just a
it's
moving studio.
It's a yeah.
Put them in their
Soundproof chamber.
Put them in their prison cells.
You can't even hear them cry.
It really
Are you
works.
tired of seeing and hearing your baby?
All right, Slumber Pod. I never heard of that before today.
That's good. That's a new product. That's always good to hear something new. All right. We're going to finish up here. We're going to, if you've been listening to the pod for a little bit, we've done a couple of birth plan simulators. We're going to put Taylor in a simulator. It's not going to be a birth plan. It's going to be more of a fatherhood simulator. Maybe I'll get to the real name after we're done. But in this scenario, Taylor, you will be playing yourself.
Okay.
Christian, let's get Christian will be your daughter.
Oh, come
Big
on.
R.
You're not setting me up. That's there.
Christian, what would be your
Okay.
voice?
Dad, oh my gosh, help me,
Okay.
Dad. I love you.
All right. And then I will be your son. Okay.
Okay.
And in this simulation, you're gonna have to make a decision.
Okay.
All right. And we're gonna leave it with that. The scenario is we're at the pool. We're at the pool in the neighborhood.
All right.
Okay. Kick us off, Christian.
Dad, I'm gonna go off the high dive.
Dad,
Do you have your floaty on?
Dad, I'm gonna go over and look at the birds across the street.
1 second. Let's watch your sister.
Awesome.
First.
There's no lifeguard. This is the best.
Okay, we're watching.
Oh,
you,
look, a
Ruth, and then
squirrel.
We'll go watch the
There's
bird.
a squirrel just over there across the street.
Henry, sit down.
2, 3.
Where's my leash?
Dad, I'm gonna go get that squirrel. I think I can get to him. He's in the street.
Blop, 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 blop.
Get out of the road, son.
Dad, help me. I can't swim.
Dad, the car's coming. Dad.
Oh my.
Dad.
This is not ending well. I'm gonna assume I just jumped in to go get Ruth or my daughter.
Oh, and
You're
I'm
my
dead?
hero.
No.
My hero. You saved me. Now I know what a man is about.
This is a segment you can cut.
And that was what we call life-saving simulator. Pick a child.
Wow.
Taylor, I've got a question for you. Why didn't you ask for Katie's help?
Ooh.
You're
Because I'm normally I'm the one that takes them to the pool by myself.
You're not in this
immediately
alone.
assumed she wasn't
This
there.
was good practice. This was good
You
practice.
needed this. You're not
Yeah.
alone. Maybe
Yeah, I should have told a bystander.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
go check
Maybe
on my
neighbor
child.
Greg. Maybe it means
Right.
writing a letter to the HOA and saying, "Hey, where are the lifeguards?"
Or only going to a pool with lifeguards.
A little too late on the letter. I'm out on that. I wanted to be known. I left a 1-star review. Yeah, that was the choose a child simulator. I think you did pretty good. You were like, you stop, whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
think
a lot of it. It's multitasking and mainly telling someone to stop or sit down or to turn around is most of the things that you're saying.
Hey, this is for podcast listeners only. This doesn't leave the walls of our podcast and our listeners. I do think a leash would have helped in this scenario.
never. I'm out. I might need to find a new host.
Forget I said that. It's just for the listeners.
That's you could hold them. No, I think you did really good, Taylor. You were like, floaties. Hold on, we're gonna watch. It was really good.
A lot of
well
safety
done,
checks along the way.
Taylor. This has been so fun, man. So good to see you in the chat. Thanks for being honest and vulnerable, and always having so much wisdom, and just always fun to laugh with you and drink some seltzers together.
There you go. Cheers.
And bottoms up.
Christian,
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for the invite.
Christian, last question.
Did you see the fellas this week?
I see the fellas. I saw other adults. That's how I know I'm getting old.
Oh,
That's not it.
yeah.
That
Sounds like a no.
That sounds like Dr. Rick right there. I saw other species that were similar to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, I hung out with some friends on Sunday, but they also have kids, so I don't know.
Oh,
It's probably doesn't count.
maybe.
Were the
Not
moms there?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, can't do
Yeah,
it.
no.
Nah, I haven't had I do one trip a year with some of my friends from college called Manuary.
Oh.
That's coming up in 2 weeks.
Can we go?
Ooh, I don't know.
I want
Probably
to have
not.
my own Manuary.
Pretty good.
Now, why is
think it's
Manuary in
Yeah.
October?
In October, yeah, that's
It was in January, and then it
yeah, you said it's a couple
gradually
weeks, and I was like, "What's happening?"
I was like, wait a minute. Is it my birthday?
it gradually migrated to October. So
Well, that's good. All right, Taylor.
All right, Taylor. love
Past
you,
your
man.
bedtime. So
all right. Yeah, it is.
See you,
see you,
brother.
man. All right. Thanks again to T Squared, Taylor, for talking with us, spending the time to chat about his experience as a fatherhood with his two kids. We hope for the girl dads out there, you got to hear a different perspective. Christian, and I think hearing kind of hearing from the light, not the light at the end of the tunnel, but just getting to hear a little bit about what the next few years look like has me excited, and the possibility of having, a girl and a boy.
I was shocked about how hard the second one was. I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah,
That one hurt.
that one was tough.
I was like, "Please tell me it's gonna be awesome."
Yeah, I also didn't like. I think I asked him, when does it start to become fun. I think he said a year and a half. This has been like the longest 6 weeks of my life.
Yeah, people. I think I've said this before. People keep telling me that
Only 20 more months.
people keep telling me, "Man, it's really flown by," and I'm like, "Maybe for
Not
you."
for me.
I will argue though. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in an optimistic mood. I'm feeling really good lately. I feel like things are kind of flowing good and like getting into good routines and
Well,
bonding's the wrong word,
I-
but just like he's been so much
Yeah.
smilier. He's been way more interactive. He's been doing so
I
much
wanted to
more.
ask you, we haven't talked about this in a while. I don't know how we haven't. It feels like we've just missed it. But like, can he see you? Like, is he smiling? Do you guys have facial recognition? Is it like Apple
Yeah,
ID, or are you using your face?
I mean, he smiles at everyone. Like we go to church and he like smiles at everybody. I think he loves faces. I think babies love faces. Like, oh, that's a face, and it is smiling at me. But yeah, he's way more interactive. He like is kicking this ball now that we got him, like a scrunchy ball. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm enjoying that. It's not a ton, like, and I want to let it know. I think like babies are like an emotional roller coaster. They get from happy to sad so fast. He's like smiling, having a good time, and crying his eyes out immediately. Like no time has passed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so that's still there for sure. But yeah, there are some more and more sweet moments. But yeah, I can't, if I'm like justifying that this is fun, what's a year and a half gonna be?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I'm still in the just blank stares stage. And we did have our first, I don't think I'd call it a smile. It was kind of a soft.
I saw your mom comment on that photo. Is that the one you mentioned?
Yeah, it was kind of a soft smile.
That was like a "What's up, ladies?"
Yeah,
kind of smile.
exactly. I mean, it was adorable. It's my new screensaver on my phone. It's like my favorite picture ever. But we did, so we got kind of our first smile.
Nice.
Anything new with you?
Yeah, man. Today is a big night. I'm sitting here with the monitor, and JJ has moved to his own room.
Ew.
He's moved to the crib. We like I said in the interview, I swear by that 12 hours by 12 weeks. But to each their own. But yeah, he slept through the night 6 nights in a row from like 7:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. 5 or 6 nights in a row, and so we are pushing our luck here, and we're moving him to his room. We set the monitor up. He's got the blackout curtains in there. He's definitely got so much like twitching going on. I think this monitor, I can see him better, and he moves so often, but he's still quiet. So yeah, we'll see how tonight goes. But it's a big moment for us. Get our room.
Was there a
back.
reason for the switch? I feel like if I had 6 straight nights, I'd be like, just keep doing what we're doing. Come out, run the same plays.
Yeah, you're right. Like, why mess with something if it ain't broke? Don't fix it. But I think the idea is that he and us will get better sleep when we're not having to tiptoe. Like every time we move, we're like scared, and like we just want to like be able to live and have our room and like
Just let me live.
uh, you know what I mean? Like
No, hey,
uh,
you don't.
in in the morning, it's like you like bump your knee and you're like, I just ruined the whole freaking
Yeah.
day. I ruined the whole day, because he wakes up. So yeah, I think it's gonna be better for everyone for him to have his own space that's quiet.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that because I've been throwing out the idea here in small circles about just wanting to put him in his crib for a night and see how he does. And we're not at the stage that you're at with sleep, but I just want to see how it goes. Kind of the opposite. It's working for you. I'm kind of like, this isn't working. Let's maybe mix it up.
You want to use it as a solution.
Yeah.
I'm using it as the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the recommendation from like the pediatric association is like a year or 2 years or something crazy. And then we're doing very early. I think it's like 3 months is as early. It's usually recommended way later than that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of pushing the boundaries here,
Hey.
but it's just something I think really matters to
You've
us.
got my support big time. Now, I do want to say I talked with T Squared a couple weeks ago about this, and because I brought up my idea about trying it, and he said I would not do it if you are like sleep deprived, if you haven't sleep well, because the first night you're like you won't sleep because you're just like, is he alive? Is he in there? Is he okay? Is he breathing? That's what he said.
Oh, you think I'm gonna be worried?
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's so funny. It hasn't crossed my mind at all. I've got the sound on this thing turned up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I mean, maybe I won't sleep, but I didn't think about that at all.
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with him, but that was what he said, and he's experienced. So, well, that's good, Christian. I'm excited for you guys. Is he in the Michelin Man suit? Did you guys ditch it? Do you stay with it?
No, we're all in on the Merlin
Okay.
suit. That's one cool thing about him in the crib. The bassinet, when his hands are out wide, his hands were touching the sides, and now in the crib they're not. So I think that'll be helpful too. But anyway, that's our main update, man. What's going on with you?
Not too much. I wanted to go back to last week's episode and clarify two things. First, yes, folks, I know that babies cry. I misspoke. Okay. When I said cry, that babies don't cry, I meant tears, not screaming and fussing. Obviously, I know that they do that. That's been my life for 6 weeks. So, yes, they do cry. Secondly, my wife was right. I did not poison my son. The white specks and the bad breath, that happens every time he feeds. So, I shared this story with some friends, and the mom, as I was saying the story, just looked at Lady G and rolled her eyes. So that did make me feel good. But good news, I didn't poison him. So
Hey, you are so bad.
But yeah, to just one quick thing from a week, I did get a chance at revenge is not the word. That's definitely not the word. What's the word?
Redemption.
Yes, redemption. Lady G went outside. I told Lady G she was gonna go walking with some friends. I said, "Hey, babe, 9 to 12 is your time. He's with me," and we got a chance to feed from the bottle again, and went much better.
And you got your revenge.
And I got my revenge.
Nice. That's great, man. Glad you had a nice time with him and feeding went well. It's good to get one of those under your belt.
Yeah, good to get. It's nice to win one sometimes.
Just knock the rust off. You're not a rookie anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That veteran leadership
Yep.
in the locker room.
Yep. I learned, sometimes losing teaches you more than winning.
That's right.
All right, Christian, let's get into some segments.
Let's start with observations from strangers. Josh, you got one for us.
Yeah, I got two. A coworker briefly saw my phone, said, "I was at your baby. Can I see a picture?" So I showed her a video of him, and she said, and I quote, "Cute babies like that are why I got fixed."
Whoa. That's amazing. What a quote.
And then she asked how old, and I told her, and she said, "Wow, he's so fat," which kind of got me thinking, like, there's no body positivity when it comes to babies.
I think fat is good, actually.
I guess it is.
say
I
that,
guess it's,
and that would hurt your feelings.
I guess there's a lot of body positivity, actually. It's kind of the opposite.
It's almost
Well, but if you're small, you're kind of like,
there's like thin shaming.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, hey, sorry for me watching my figure. My bad.
Sorry, our baby is going for tone, not bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cute babies like that are why I got fixed. And
Why I got fixed. That's awesome.
Oh, well, it's funny because when she said it, I didn't even really know what she meant. You know, I'm not an expert. But then I figured it out. It was probably like a 3-second delay, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Did you get that done at a veterinarian? Is it cheaper at the vet to do that?
Did you get a 2-for-1 special with your dog?
Yep. Hey, while you're down there.
Yeah, my second observation from a stranger. This is not a specific story. This is just kind of what I've observed over the last 6 weeks, which is, man, people love staring at your baby. It's gets to a point where it gets kind of creepy.
Well, you've had people smell your baby, so it's you think you're past creepy.
I think smelling, but at least that was, we had a connection. Well, we didn't have a connection with them, but we made a connection.
We're forever connected by that sniff.
It's just, yeah. I mean, most of the time it's older women. It's like I get scared that they're going to try to steal them if I like turn my back. But what I want to say is, if you're a single guy out there, a lot of guys might get a dog, go to a dog park. You got a nice cute dog. You might get some ladies coming up to you. I think you need to like find a family member and just take their baby for a day, because people love just coming up to your baby, seeing them, asking if they can look at them.
Yeah, but I think the beauty is they get to leave. I don't think anyone's like, you know what? I want to be with this person that has a baby.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not your baby, Oh, this is my niece. I'm just watching them. What's your name?
Yeah, just like, hey, I'm a baby lover myself. Yeah. Guilty. Yeah, I like that. I hear you.
You caught me.
You'd have to explain it's not your kid. Then it becomes maybe
because then it's a win-win. They are like, oh my gosh, he's good with babies. He likes kids, and they're like, oh, there's a baby. I get to see him. But then they're not also like, oh, this guy has a kid.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, Dr. Rick Christian, hit me.
So this is actually not me becoming my dad. This is me hanging out with my dad and just being like, yep, that's my dad. So they came up to help. Lady A went back to work, and so I got some support over the weekend to help me with JJ, and we went to a festival on the way there. There was a 4-way stop, and in DC, in a few of the 4-way stops, they have stop signs on both sides of the post just for extra signage. And my dad took great offense to the wasted money and tax dollars of them putting the sign on both sides of the post. He's like, why do people on the left side of the road need to see a stop sign on the other side? And after numerous times of telling him we don't know and we don't work for the city, he continued to bring it up and how dumb it was, and it definitely irritated him.
I mean,
so yeah,
who
just but who was he taking that out?
Well, who could blame him? We're paying for that.
He's not. He doesn't live here.
If it wasn't for that sign, I could have probably bought a boat by now.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. No, I love that too, that my dad doesn't even pay taxes in the city. So it doesn't, what's the matter to him? And he kept saying, yeah, the city of DC really knows how to spend their tax dollars.
Well, apparently they do on their sparkling and seltzer waters.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Pops.
Love you, Todd.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah. Went to go see some friends on Friday night. We're driving through their neighborhood, and they had a bunch of yard sale signs up. And we went over there. We're hanging out with them. And this was the next morning was the morning I was just telling you about. Lady G was taking the day for herself. I was going to hang out with him, with JA. And I was talking to Dad. I was like, you guys got a yard sale tomorrow in the neighborhood? I was like, I think I might come over. And he's like, yeah, I'll go with you. And I think we were driving home, and I uttered to Grace that tomorrow morning, which would mean I'm going walking through the neighborhood at the yard sale with my son, could be one of the best mornings of my life.
I mean, you never know what you're gonna find.
It was great. I
Treasure
bought
trove.
3 things. I mean, so I will say I would have said that regardless. Like if like I love a good thrift store, good yard sale, something like that. But I was excited to like push my son around his stroller and walk around. And it was great.
Might get some good discounts that way. Say it's for him. Hey, it's for him when he grows up.
Yeah. We're putting this broken swing set into his college fund.
Exactly. You know what? Take 50% off. Support the kids.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, episode 19, so I don't have to give the listeners any background. Episode 20, you'll hear all about it. But did you see the fellas this week?
So I've got a question for the jury. Went to the yard sale, walked the yard sale. It was me, my son, a fellow fella, and other dad, and 2 of his kids. Does that count?
How old are his kids?
I'm gonna go with 4 and 2.
So 48 months, and I think that works.
I mean, we talked a lot, just walking, talking.
Yeah, I think
It
that
was
works.
good fella time.
Yeah, I'll give it to
Kind
you.
of just ignored the kids for a little bit. They were with us.
Yep, you got
Boom. I'll take it. It was great. Great time. Christian, did you see the fellas this week?
it. No.
All right. And that is going to do it for episode 19 of the Other Dads podcast. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Taylor. Follow us on X, Instagram, subscribe to Christian's blog. He's got a new blog out. You can read that. Make sure you subscribe and send us any emails, questions, or feedback you got at theotherdadspod@gmail.com, theotherdadspod@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week for episode 20. Some dads go to happy hour to escape. Some dads go home to spend time with family. And no dad is perfect, except for Taylor so far.
Thanks for being the other dads.
Peace.
Finger guns.
Game 17 of TOD Pick'em goes to Christian as my Washington Commanders defeat the Cincinnati Bengals 38-33. That's what I get for picking against my own team. I'm sorry, Jaden Daniels. I won't doubt you again. I'm now up to Christian 9-8. He's on a 2-game streak here, and I've only got a 1-game lead.
Did you actually want us to cut the saving their life simulator? By the way,
I don't. I mean, it wasn't my favorite part, but
I mean, we did think that.
I think we saved it.
I think we were gonna save it at the end.
okay.
we basically the way we talked about it later, like you did good. I think it works out.
Yeah, we'll go.
And being like, you could have asked Katie for help. It's kind of like a
right.
trick scenario.
Yeah, no,
we didn't give you the rules.
No solo parenting.
Yeah, that's like the classic. She's the doctor.
It may have got a little aggressive when I said I'm dead.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Maybe cut that part. Yeah, that was not necessary.
I apologize. I could tell that's when it took a turn.
Too far.
Yeah, that was clearly the line. Because he wouldn't be able to talk if that was the case.